everybody, welcome to Bones Collector. Today on Bones Collector we're continuing our series where Lori and I are playing our way through our board gaming library. So we're going to play a couple of games, 2 or 3 games each week, and make a video about it and pass it on to you, and I hope you enjoy them. Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to Bones Collector, and Lori and I just got done playing, am I in frame? Rattlebones. Rattlebones is a game that is designed by Stephen Glenn. It came out in 2014. It's a dice crafting game, dice rolling, and the winning condition is when the first player that can go around this track and meet up with Mr. Rattlebones. And Mr. Rattlebones moves towards the players also. So that's something that you've seen in other board games, but it's really cool in this one. And again, we got this game in 2017, so we've had it for 5-6 years now. And I just love this game. Made in the USA, that's kind of rare, by Rio Grande Games. And it's kind of a fast, what do I call it, Fast Freddy or Five Nights of Freddy type?
Five Nights of Freddy. You call it Fast Freddy. It's Five Nights.
My grandson was into that Freddy guy for a while, and it kind of reminded me of the art of that. It's got that creepy circus, which is hilarious to me. That kind of creepy circus feel to it. We'll talk about the production of the game. The box is decent, not great, but decent, and it's got like a cardboard insert in it that holds stuff in place, and we get a rule book and all these nice chunky dice. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen those before. These dice were in an expansion for Roll for the Galaxy. And were they using anything else? Oh yeah, Dice Realms. The new Dice Realms game uses those dice. So they've been around a little bit. And there is another dice crafting game besides Dice Realms, because it uses the same dice, but Dice Forge. And I did a video. If you go down through our videos, you can find a video that we did called Rattlebones versus Dice Forge, and we played both of them extensively, and it was hands down we were going to keep Rattlebones, and we sold Dice Forge and moved that game on. It was a fine game, Dice Forge, but it just didn't have that fun factor that we were looking for in a board game. So we kept Mr. Rattlebones. And let's see, we've got all these little faces that come with the game that you're going to craft and put on your dice as you move around the board. And so we bought this little organizer to help store those. And I would suggest, if you get this game, to get yourself a little organizer like this and to keep all the die faces in. It helps with setup, and it helps with distributing them when you're getting the different faces as you move around the board. The board itself is fine. I don't know if it's linen or not. I think it might be a linen board, but it's fine. This is a die that you use for the gambler card that's on the board sometimes. And then you have these big chunky wooden pieces. These are your circus monkeys with little hats on, and each player gets 3 of those, and you're going to move those around the board. I'll show you how it works in a minute. And then your scoring markers are these little chunky wooden mice in your player color. So that's what you're going to be moving around the scoring track. The coins are thick money coins. I mean, it's cardboard, but they're thick. These stars that you collect are thick cardboard. Mr. Rattlebones himself is a nice big wooden chunky piece, and you have this big chunky wooden train that's going to move around this train track in the center of the board, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But everything, production-wise, is outstanding. I mean, it's very nicely done. And we picked this game up. They had it, this is back in 17. And for whatever reason, Amazon was just blowing out board games. I don't know if you guys were aware of that happened back in 17 or not, but I mean, they were giving games away. I don't know why, but I think we got this for like $9. And I looked it up on YouTube and watched Game Boy Geek. Is that his name? Mm-hmm. Game Boy Geek. And I watched him talk about the game, and it convinced me to give it a try. I liked the video that he did, and I want to thank him for that. And this game is for 2 to 4 players, and it says 15 to 30 minutes. That's accurate. And we've done this game in 15 minutes, and it's cool when you do it. 15 minutes, because it just I don't know, you're having fun for 15 solid minutes or whatever time frame this takes. But I watched him do that video, and I was convinced we'd like it. I saw it on Amazon for $9. I was like, what the heck, $9? You know, I've thrown away $9 before. I lost $9. So we picked this game up, and played it, and from the first play, we just said this game's very, very fun, and we're definitely going to keep this. Now we just play the heck out of it. We get it out. We just got done playing it 6 times because you can. You know, you can 15, 20, 25 minutes is what is per game, and you just let's do it again. Let's do it again because you can do so many different things. Now these cards that you see, these are not thick cardboard, which is the only disappointment I had with the game as far as production. They're just thick paper, I guess, that are distributed around the board. You get a bunch of them, so the games are always different. Different die faces. You can see all the die faces here in this container. So there's a bunch of different die faces, and you only use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, you wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you use 7 of these in every game, and some of the items will not be used in the game you play. So you can do it randomly, or you can do your favorites, or you can just pick ones and combinations that you want to try to randomize the board when you start the game. But it's pretty neat that you can do the game like that because it gives some replayability and variability to the game. Some of these die faces are printed on the board. So you have 7 action cards that you're going to put on the board to change the game, and then some of the die faces are printed on here and they stay on the board. Now, when you play this game, you're going to take these 3 monkeys, and when you start out the game, you're going to have 3 dice, a black, a white, and a gray, and they're all going to have regular die faces on them except for one, and the one irregular die face is the number 1, and that's Mr. Rattlebones. He represents number 1. So that when you start the game, you're just going to pick one of these dice, because you only roll 1 die at a time unless you pay a coin. And for every coin you pay, you can roll another die, and coins, you have to go get them. So you just simply roll this die, and I just rolled a 3. So I would pick one of my wooden monkeys and I would move him 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3, and I land on this card, which is the thief. Now if I want to, I can take that die face of the thief and put it on this white die that I just rolled. So I would have to remove one of my numerical values off the dice and put that funky face on this thing for whatever I happen to have landed on. And as you're moving these circus monkeys around this board, that's all you're doing when you move them, is that's going to allow you to take a new die face for whatever die you happen to have rolled. And you're going to have a choice whether you want to put that new die face on this die or not do it at all. You don't have to do it. And if you roll this die and you get Mr. Rattlebones, that's a 1. So you would move Mr. Rattlebones 1 space forward towards the players, and you would move yourself, one of your circus monkeys, 1 space. So that's what happens when you roll Mr. Rattlebones. And as you are moving around the board, in my next turn, maybe I'd roll this white die again and get another number, and I could either move one of these monkeys from start, or I could move this one that's already on the board, that number of spaces. So you can move any of your circus monkeys, and they're going to get spread out across the board. You know, you'll have them here, and so when you roll a die that has a numerical value, that's Mr. Rattlebones, say a 4, I could move any one of my 3 monkeys 4 spaces. So you're sitting here going, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. That gets me that face. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can get the 1, 2, 3, 4 space. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can get the train. You know, you're going over in your head your various options as you consider that particular die value on the die that you rolled. Once you land on some of these, for instance, this particular game will have 2 spaces for gold pieces. So once you get a gold piece on this die, when you roll that, when that gold die face comes up, you will take a gold coin, and that gold coin will allow you to say, you know what, on your next turn, you can say, oh, I'm going to roll 2 dice. So I'm going to pay a gold coin to the bank. I'm going to roll 2 dice. Then not only do you have your superpower dice that you've built, you can see this one has all kinds of different die faces that you've landed on. You've built this super die here. So you can roll that and maybe one with numerical values still on it and roll both those dice. I rolled the gambler and I rolled a number 2. So the number 2, I would look at the board and as a yellow player, I'd say, let's see, I can move 2 spaces, any 2 spaces. I can go 1, 2, get another gold face for this white die. I can move this one, 1, 2, get the train and put on here. I can move this one 1, 2, and get this 9 spot. We have a new kitten. This is Toothless, and he's very interested in board gaming.
Overly interested. He's overly interested in board games.
He likes to knock around our board games. We're not used to that. Our other cat just never touched our board games.
Yeah,
but
never.
He's a little bit nutty.
He's different.
I hate to apologize for him. It's just the way he is.
Yeah.
So anyways, if you got this 9 dice to put on your dice, then when you would roll that, you can move any spaces between 1 and 9. You can just pick a number. So that's pretty cool, because really it can replace, you don't want to have a die really that has no numerical value, because if you roll that by itself, you're not going to move any of your circus monkeys. So it's kind of, I don't know, you have to kind of weigh things out as you're playing this game. And then when this gambler came up, then you would go over here and pick up this gambler dice that comes with the game, and you roll that, and I just rolled 3, so that would give me 3 points. I'd move my mouse 3 points closer to Rattlebones. And it has a, let's see, it's got Mr. Rattlebones on the gambler, and 2 Mr. Rattlebones, and then it has 2, 3, 4, and 5 on here, and that's huge. 5 points in this game is pretty nice. And you can get it with the gambler. So I think everybody likes the gambler when he's in the game. And then also the train. Let's go over some of these things. I'm going to go over them one at a time. But this is a stock certificate space. When you land on that, there's the stock certificates here that...
When you roll that.
Yeah, that's right. I want to make that clear. When you're playing this game...
It's hard to get used to.
It's hard to get used to. The only time you move these monkeys is when you have a numerical value that you're trying to spend. Then when you roll this die, to be able to do anything, you have to have that face come up on one of the dies that you roll. Like I just rolled this and the gambler came up again. That's when I can take the gambler action. If I roll this and the gold piece comes up, that's when I can get a gold piece. When I have this train come up, I take whatever points are on the board where this train happens to be sitting. I take those points on the point track and then I move the train. And the train, and he starts out on 0 and it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the top, and then 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and it moves around that track. So whenever you roll that, you're going to get the points where that train is sitting, then you move it forward 1 space. I've won games using nothing but that train. I mean, if you get one of these die and you put like 3 trains on it and maybe an arrow, because the arrow just points to a die face, so you can point it to whatever die face you want to use, and you can just move around that train track. If you roll it, you have to be able to roll it. And that's the whole fun in this game, is figuring out that combination between acquiring faces for your dice and then rolling dice to move your monkeys around. Because when you have the special faces on here, again, it's no numerical value, and you can't move any of your circus monkeys. But on the other hand, you want to roll these faces to be able to collect things like the stock certificates or the stars, gold pieces, so you can roll more than 1 dice at a time. But I'm going to go over some of these right now. And this first space right here is stock. If you land on that, you put a stock face on your dice that you happen to have rolled. You have to use the one you rolled. You put that stock face on here, and then whenever you roll that stock face, you'll take one of these stock certificates and put it in your play area. And once you have all 5 of these, well, once they've all disappeared, then you score it. Now, other players are going to take them too. Whoever has the most gets 10 points. So that's a lot of points. I mean, it's the whole idea of this game is to move your mouse as fast as possible and try and catch up to Mr. Rattlebones. And he's going to be moving. I guarantee you, everybody's going to roll Rattlebones over and over again. And he's just going to move 1 space at a time towards the players. Because there's a Rattlebones in every one of these dice, and you can't take it off there. You're not allowed to remove it. It stays on there the whole game. And then there's 2 Rattlebones on the gambler. So Mr. Rattlebones is moving, and your mice are moving towards him, and it goes pretty quick. I mean, once you get your dice built, and you're rolling those and scoring your different mechanisms that are on the board, then those mice start to move, and you're done in 30 minutes max. I mean, especially a 2-player game. Mm-hmm. We've done this 15, 20, 25 minutes. I don't think it's ever taken us half an hour unless we...
Maybe.
You know.
It depends on what cards come up.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't get the gambler, it's harder to move.
Yeah.
that many spaces.
But then this space here is the gold that we talked about. And in this particular instance, we have 2 of them. And you would simply put that gold die face on your dice that you happen to have rolled. And then whenever you roll that gold face, then you get a gold coin. And that's the hardest thing to get used to. You have to select them with your circus monkeys. And then you, oh, sorry, Mr. Rattlebones. Oh, now he's really interested.
Yeah.
All right, oh, nice. Oh, man, I'm ancient. All right. And you have to roll that die face in order to execute that action. So that's the gold piece. Then this is the thief I told you about. And the thief allows you to take a stock certificate, a star, or a gold piece from another player. And that's the only interactive thing in the game. And we enjoy it once in a while.
When we started out, we
Yeah.
never played with it. We took it out.
We took it out,
and
yeah.
then we decided, oh, what the heck, let's try it.
And it's not bad.
And if they have nothing, you get nothing.
That's right. And that's what happened. Lori had the thief, and so I knew that. She put the thief face on her die, and so I tried to get rid of all my stuff so she couldn't take anything. So whenever I'd get a couple of gold pieces, I'd spend them right away. Because I didn't want her
Because he's
stealing.
like that.
Yeah, I didn't want her taking my stuff. And so you got to think about those things. It's just some cool mechanisms in this game. This one that has a +1, that's for victory points on the points track, and you put that number 1 piece face on the die that you happen to have rolled, and every time you roll that, you get a point, and you move your point marker. And then if you move your circus monkey onto that space again, that +1 space, then you take a number 2.
And you
And replace the number 1, okay? So that it escalates on that die. And then if you move your circus monkey back around to this space again, you can take a number 3 and replace the number 2. You see how that's working? And it goes all the way up to 5, and there's only one of these 5s. So all the other numbers have multiples, but only one player gets to get that number 5. But you have to keep going to the space and adding those die faces. So you can see there's just a lot of different ways you can play this game. And that's why we play it so many times in a row. I mean, I always say, I'm gonna try something different this time. I'm gonna do nothing but stars. I'm gonna go to the star space right here and put star faces on my die and just roll them because these stars are huge. And you have to land one of your circus monkeys on this start space to cash them in. So whenever you're rolling those stars, you're going to collect those in your play area. And if you get to this star space with one of your circus monkeys, the 1 star is 3 points, 2 stars 7, 3 stars is 11 points. That's huge. And 5 stars is 15 points if you can pull that off. So there's so many different ways you can play this game. Then this space here that shows this square die is a roll again. So if you land on here with your circus monkey, you can take this die that you rolled, put one of those roll again faces on here, and when you roll that, let's say you roll this die again and that face comes up, then for free, you can grab another die and roll 2 dice. You roll both of them. And then if that face comes up again, you can get all 3 and roll all 3 of them. And so that's pretty cool. But you got to be careful because you can have too many of these. Because if it comes up again with a reroll, you get nothing. You know, that third roll, you get nothing if it comes up with a reroll. So you don't want to have too many of these, but yet they can work significantly in your favor if it comes up correctly. And then this die, this die face on this card is 1, 2, 3, 4. You get the points according to your position on the scoring track. And in a 4-player game, you would get 4 points if you're in last, 3 points if you're in third, and so forth. 1 point if you happen to be in the lead. Of course, in a 2-player game, we only use the 1 and 2, but still, it's pretty neat. I mean, if you can score every time you roll your dice, you're going to do pretty well in this game. That's the key, is that to not have a roll where nothing happens. You know, you can roll and have a numerical value and nothing comes up for you to score, and that's it drives you crazy because you try to plan so that doesn't happen. And then I showed you how the train works, and then this is a 2-time face that goes on the dice. And when that die, you know, if you have to move your circus monkey over here, get that die face, put it on your dice, and then when you roll it next time and that ×2 comes up, it doubles
whatever's on your other dice.
Whatever's on your other dice,
so if you only roll 1 dice.
That can be tricky, because if you roll 1 die and this ×2 comes up, you get nothing, because it only doubles what's on the other dice. So that's pretty tricky.
And it only doubles money, points, I forget.
Money.
It only doubles a couple things.
So it only doubles gold stars and points on your other dice. So you got, again, you have to work that into your strategy. And then the arrow I told you about, the die face, you have move your circus monkey onto there. You take a die face arrow, put it on the dice that you happen to have rolled for that turn, and it will point to where, whatever you want to do. Maybe you have gotten this up to a 3 on the point, the +1 track. So you've got a 3-point face on this die, and you go here and you take one of these die face arrows and you point it, take your 2 out of here and you point that towards your 3. Now you got 2 opportunities to get 3 points when you roll this dice. This game is so much fun because of that. I mean, it's when I first saw this game, I thought, you know what, that's pretty easy, and it is an easy game. But for whatever reason, some people equate that with not being fun. This game is absolutely so much fun. I mean, we laugh and giggle the whole time we're playing
You can talk while you're playing. You don't have to pay,
It's a lot of fun. If you think a game is fun, that's all that matters. And I really like Rattlebones. We've kept it since I looked into it and picked it up. And it's one of my favorite. It's in my top 100 of all time. Rattlebones. I really, really enjoy playing it. I get these little sticks, and you're going to take this, it's got a little cutout on the one end, and whenever you want to replace the die face, you simply pop that out and pop the new die face into the die, and then when you roll it, hopefully it comes up with that super face you just put on there, and you get 3 points. So and it's very easy to do. We haven't had a problem. We've played this game a lot. Like I say, we just played it 6 times, and we probably played it 20 times. It's so much fun, and Rattlebones has a wonderful place in our library just because if we want to play a game that's nice and light, breezy, easy, fast, funny, and ridiculous, we really, really like Rattlebones. And I think I did after that video I did Rattlebones versus Dice Forge, and I did a review on Amazon after I'd gotten this game from them. I think I ran this game out of stock on Amazon. And because it is just a fun game. So, I mean, we have some games that take a lot of crunchy thinking, but games can be crunchy, they can be quick, and they can be fun all at the same time. And I love that combination. This is going to be not only my top 100, but I have another top 10 video coming up that I'm going to do where I talk about board games that have no player boards, and this is one of them. And I like that because all the action, everything takes place right here on the board. You're rolling dice, changing faces, deciding which faces you want to move your circus monkeys to put on your dice, and trying to get that mouse over to Mr. Rattlebones. And he starts out in a different place on the scoring track depending on the player count. And it's 55 for 2 players. And then we just start rolling and playing and rolling and playing and laughing. And the game is just a lot of fun, and I love telling people about it. I went on and on. This game is so much fun, you guys. I hope you can. There's people that will not play this game because it's too easy. Oh, I'm not playing that. I'm smart. Rattlebones is just too easy. It's random. You're rolling dice, and there's going to be times when you're going to roll your dice, and if I get one more, I don't know how many times I've been beating this game when I'm standing right in front of Mr. Rattlebones. I'm like this. And Lori will be back here, and she'll score like 10 points. And meet Mr. Rattlebones ahead of me. Makes me so crazy. But that's the nature of this game because it's random. Maybe I rolled the turn before and did nothing. I mean, it's just the way this game is played. And you won't get what you want all the time because I like games where I have a lot of control, but I also like games like this that are fun and random and just a hoot to play. And that's Rattlebones, ladies and gentlemen. That's enough of that. That's 2014 Rattlebones by Stephen Glenn. Thank you, Stephen Glenn, for a wonderful game that I will play probably the rest of my life as long as I can roll them bones. See you later, guys. Hey everybody, welcome to Bones Collector, where Lori and I just got done playing Las Vegas Royale by Rudiger Hot Diggity Dorn. That's what I like to call him. But Las Vegas Royale came out in 2019. The original Las Vegas came out in 2014. And then I think they had an expansion that maybe added some modules or something. But when you get the Royale package like this from Aaliyah Games, you get all these extra tiles that can be added, different module tiles that can be added to the game. And this came out in 2019. and it is a dice chucker area majority game, and the winning condition is the most money, and it plays 2 to 5 players, so you have 5 different colors of dice in here. So since it's from Aaliyah Games, this box is pretty chintzy, but it is what it is, and because they've never put games in good boxes. Then you get a rule book with it. There's no kind of an insert, anything like that. And yet there's different colored dice in the box. That there's red and blue players that are in the box that we didn't use, so I don't have them out here. But the tiles themselves that come with the game are nice and thick. This centerpiece is nice and thick. It's a plastic piece where you're gonna, it's like a dice. What do you call them?
Dice tray.
A dice tray. It's like a dice tray with casinos around it, and you can play this game without the different tiles, module tiles that come with the game, and it's very fun. And I believe that is Las Vegas. When you play it without any of these tiles on here, and they just come off of here like this. Oops. Just come off of here, and that's got some like that, and you can just play it with that, and it's a lot of fun just like that.
And we've played it with 5 players like that.
We've played it with 5 players just like that, with none of these modules, because it slows things down when you do this, because you're going to do different functions. So sometimes it's nice to be able to play without that. Now, where'd that little tile go? There it is. And I just love this game, and I wanted to pair this up with Rattlebones in this video because these are 2 light dice chucking games that are just fun to play, and I really enjoy them, and I wanted to tell you guys about them. If you haven't played Las Vegas or Las Vegas Royale, you're missing some good board gaming fun. And the way this works is an area majority thing. Each player starts out the game with 2 chips to allow you to skip your turn and re-roll on your next turn, or if you save those to the end of the game, they're worth $10,000. You have all these beautiful dice in your player color. There's 7 of them, and one of them is twice as big as all the others, and it counts for 2. So when you're doing your area majority, that's pretty cool. And then we also have some blank dice here that are going to be, they were in the game that we just played, and those blank dice have a function because of this tile, the handicap tile. And I'll tell you about that in a second. And everything is, these are like card stock, and this is the money that you're going to lay out. And when you start the game, you lay out 6 piles of 2 face down of these money cards, and then you lay them around the casinos according to how much each pile of 2 is worth. This is worth this is 2 $90,000 ones worth $180,000. That's the most of the piles, so it would go on the 6. Now the next most amount would go on the 5, next most amount on the 4, and so on around the board. And so when you take your turn, you're simply going to roll all your dice in the dice tray like that, and then you're going to decide what dice you want to spend out of what you've rolled. And you have to spend all the dice of that value. So if you wanted to play all your 1s in the 1 casino, my biggie die is a 1, and then I have 1 other 1 in the dice tray. I would have to play those 2 dice in the 1 casino if I wanted to play any of the 1s, because you have to play all of that particular value. Also on this particular roll, I had 2 6s. So I would have to play 2 6s over here in the 6s. And right now, if this stands the way it is right now, those 2 6s would win this casino, and I would get the highest value money card. So when you win one of these casinos, you get the high value money card. If you come in second, you get the second value money card. If you tie, and especially in a 2-player game, this happens. If you tie with somebody, if you want to tie with someone, nobody gets anything. Your dice are worthless. And you try to avoid that unless you're trying to hurt the other player or make sure they don't win a casino that you don't want them to win. Then you would try to tie with them, and that way nobody would get any money. And that sometimes that's beneficial for you to do that. So it's something to think about. And you do that for 3 rounds, and once you add up all your money after 3 rounds, the one who has the most money wins. So it's a very cool game, and there's some things to think about, because when you roll your dice, let's say it's my first turn, and I roll my dice, and I happen to roll maybe 4 or 5 of a kind. Right now I've got 3 5s, 2 6s. Now I would have to decide, do I want to spend 3 5s on my first turn? I mean, it's sometimes you want to do that, but man, that's hard to do. And many times on your first turn you may roll and you'll have 5 of a kind. And spending 5 of a kind on your first turn, you really don't, most of the time you won't want to do that. So you have to make those decisions. Well, what do I want to spend? What do I want to, because you got to put something down unless you want to skip your turn. And you only have 2 tokens to start the game with to skip turns. So you have ways of getting other tokens via these modules or these extra tiles, but if you're just playing Las Vegas, you've only got 2 of these. If you save them at the end of the game, they're 20,000 bucks, but sometimes you may want to skip your turn, so you have to spend that 10,000 bucks in order to get 50 or to 40 or 30. Anything's more, any of these money cards are worth more than the 10,000 you're going to spend to skip your turn. So you're making those decisions because it's an area majority. Whoever has the most dice of that value in that casino is going to win the casino. Now, you don't always want to win a casino. Coming in second is fine a lot of times. For instance, in this number 6 casino, both cards are worth $90,000. So coming in second is just as good as coming in first. So that goes into your strategy also. So that's the game. That is it. You're trying to have area majority by rolling these dice. And you have a biggie die like I showed you that counts for 2. So you're thinking about that. And again, if you tie with another player, and it could be the neutral player or an active opponent, nobody gets anything. And that sucks. Unless you're trying to do that. And then what I want to do was tell you a little bit about these module tiles. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. And they're double-sided. And they have to do with Las Vegas. They're all gambling tiles. So you're going to, if you place a dice in a casino that's connected to one of these tiles, then you're going to do that also. So in other words, if I rolled my dice right now, and I have a 2, I have 2 2s actually. So I put them over here in the 2 casino because I want to win the money over here. I want to win the money, either be first or second, so I can get one of these money cards. But also this handicap tile, which I really like this tile. This handicap tile, I get to do it also. And what it allows me to do, because I placed a die in that casino, I can choose one of these blank dice out of any one of these casinos. And I can take that die and place it on this board, this tile. And if I place it here, I can get an extra cookie. A skip your turn $10,000 chip. And if I place the die here, I get $30,000. If this blank die I'm talking about. If I place the die here, I can take, how's it work? I can take a die and change it to any, I can take a die, first of all, out of one of the casinos where I've already placed a die. That would be one choice. Or I can, with my remaining dice, I could change it to any value I wanted and place it in a casino. So you can do 2 different things by placing it right here. I love that handicap tile. On the other side is block it. That's the meanest tile in the game. We played with it, and you see, you take 3 blank dice, put them on here, 2 blank dice there, 2 blank dice, and 1 and 1. And they sit on this tile. And then when you go to that particular casino, you can choose one of these piles of dice and place those blanks in one of the casinos to block the other players. So, and Lori tortured me. By the way, we played twice. She beat me twice. Yeah, so I didn't do very well. But she beat me one time using this. She blocked the crap out of me, and I, like one of the big casinos I was going for, I didn't get any money, and she was able to win that game. But that's the type of things you do. It all has to do with Las Vegas. And then this 50-50 tile is pretty cool. If you go to that casino, if you place a 1 here in this casino, you get to do this thing. It's got a little arrow tile on here that starts right here, and you're going to take these 2 black dice that come with the game, and let me get my dice out of the tray here.
You move the tile first.
Yeah. Well, first, yeah, you take this tile and move it to the $0, and I'll show you here in a second. So you're going to take this little tile. It's going to sit right here. When you're going to do this tile, you move it first to there, and it has $0. Dang it, has $0 below there. It's called 50-50, and I'm going to roll these dice to start the thing off. I rolled a 4. So what I'm going to do now is put this here, push this up 1 space, and now I have to declare, next time I roll those dice, is it going to be less than a 4 or more than a 4? Well, naturally, I'm going to say more than a 4.
Or you cannot,
go and get the cookie. Yeah,
there you go.
You can get the cookie. but I wouldn't. You're going to keep going because you want that 30 grand. That's the next one. So I say more, and it's a 7. Now this moves up here. Now I can say, all right, I'll take my 30,000, cut my losses, and get the heck out of here. Or it's a 7. You know, I mean, this is pushing your luck. But you can move it up to here to the 40,000 and say, I think it'll be less than a 7 or more than a 7. And you just, you know, that's the chance you're going to take. And then if you happen to be successful there, you can move it up one more time and go to the $60,000 mark and again declare if you think it's going to be more or less. So that's pretty cool. I mean, like I say, they're all gambling things. And this one over here, the Lucky Punch, has 3 tiles on it with fists on it. And when you go there, your opponent is going to hide them in their hand, and you have to guess how many they have in their hand. And depending on how many you guess is what the reward they're going to get.
If they get it right.
Yeah, if they get it right. You have to get it right. And you get 2 of the chips that let you skip your turn, or you can win $30,000 or $40,000. So that's pretty cool. I really enjoy this game. It's so much fun. There's so much variety because of these tiles. You have so many of these, but you don't have to use them again. You can just play the game as Las Vegas, and that's just as fun. And I mean, if you have a full complement of 5 players, Las Vegas playing that is just fine, and it's fast.
Yeah, we've never done it.
Yeah, and furious because again, these tiles slow the game down a little bit.
And every round they change.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, every round they change. You don't have to probably. You could leave them out there if you wanted to, but. Yeah, and then you use these dice on a couple of them, and these blank dice on a couple of them, so it's pretty cool. There's this, let's see, I mean, there's so many of them. There's High 5 here, and it's got a tile that goes here that's worth $100,000 if you can get 5 of the same dice in that casino. This one was rough, man. This is Bad Luck, it's called, and you have to have whatever casino, and all these tiles have to be attached to 1, 2, or 3. I don't know if I said that or not. They won't be on 4, 5, and 6. They have to be attached to 1, 2, and 3. But this Bad Luck tile, if it is on whatever it happens to be on, 1, 2, or 3, whoever has the least amount of that value in that casino has to pay 50 grand to the bank at the end of the round. So you're going to go there because I mean, even if you have 0, I mean, if you don't put a die there, you're paying 50 grand to the bank. So everybody's going to fight to go there and not be. You're going to have to really beat the dummy player in a 2-player game. Or if there's more of you, you'd have to beat the least the player with the least amount of dice in there. Everybody's going to have to play 50 grand. So that's pretty cool. Let's see what else we got in the back of 9 dice. My Choice. I forget if we did that one. Did we played it?
You roll the dice and you pick one of the 2 dice and get what's on that
The
tile.
black dice?
Yeah, you roll the 2 black die and you pick one.
Okay.
And whatever number you pick, you do what's on that.
And you place it on here, and you get to do what's underneath that die. So that's a. Let's see what else we got. Payday. I don't know how that worked. You remember?
When you go there, you count up how many different casinos you have your dice in, and you multiply it by $10,000.
Oh, that was pretty good. I think I did that once.
You did.
This is maximum. Oh yeah, and this has a little tile here, and when you go to that casino, if you have more dice in that casino than anybody else, you take this tile and put it in your play area, and then the next time around, instead of taking your turn, you can take one of your die, turn it to any value you want, and put it in one of the casinos. And you can keep doing that until somebody takes that thing away from you. So that's crazy. Man, that's a wild one. Black box, you have 6 of these narrow tiles, and they come with a game, and they lay on here, and when somebody goes there, your opponents are going to choose how to separate these. I think there's $100,000 in awards to be won. 3 tiles have 0 on them. 2 tiles have 20,000, and 1 tile has 60.
Yeah.
And you can put those in two stacks, any combination you want. A 1 and a 5. 2 tiles and 4, 3 and 3, any combo you want, and then they have to choose one of those stacks, and they get what's in that stack. You could stick all 3 zeros in one stack and have them choose that. That'd be great, but it didn't happen.
But if they didn't pick, they'd get the 100.
Yeah, but did you get 100 when I did it?
No, I did badly.
No.
Did I?
Yeah, I think you got the 100.
Oh, I might have on that time.
I think I did 4 and 2, and I put 2 zeros in one stack and all the money and 1 zero in another stack, and she took the conservatives. She took the 4 stack and got all 100,000 out. That's why I don't go to Vegas, folks. I'd be broke because I'm crazy. I would do all that stuff. And let's see what else we got. No entry, that blocks. No entry has a tile here that looks just like that. And when you go there with your dice, you take that reward that's in that circle, move it to the next space, and then that particular blocks one of the casinos. And if somebody's already got dice there, they're just SOL. I mean, there's nothing to do about it. Or nobody else can put any more dice there at all. So, let's see. But anyways, I mean, that's the type of stuff that's in these Las Vegas Royale tiles that come with the game. And, you know, it's just dice chucking fun. And it's very quick. Again, every game is 3 rounds long. And at the end of that, you add up your money, and the person with the most money wins. But I love having games like this in my library because there's times when it just feels good to play something light and fun. But this and Rattlebones, same type of complexity level. Both games are fast and furious and fun, and they're worth having and owning and playing over and over again. They're different every time you play them, and I really, really enjoy them. We have a couple other dice games, you know, Ancient Terrible Things is a dice chucker, and
this works really good with people that don't game.
Yeah, this is easy to learn. Same with Rattlebones. You can teach it very quickly.
We play that with we play this with family, and they love it.
Yeah. When we have people come and visit, we get out Las Vegas Royale and play this game, and we don't even use the tiles. Like I say, but they're new gamers. We just take them out, just leave them in the box, and it looks like this when you play the game.
And it's a nice, quick game.
Yeah, boom. This is what you're dealing with, and you got your money, stacks of money around here. And you're fighting for area majority as you roll those dice and place them out there and try and win these dollars, man.
Roll them bones.
That's right. You roll them bones. And these dice are nice, very nice dice, and in they go. You hope to win the big money.
The poker chips aren't the best.
Yeah, these poker chips we've used. I mean, they're made of plastic, but they don't stack. I was kind of curious. I mean,
they do, but they're not flat. They're concave and they tip over.
They kind of do. I don't know. It bugs Lori more than it does me. Apparently. I don't mind. I mean, they're okay, but yeah, she doesn't like them because they slide. They'll slide over and stuff, or whatever. But it's a nice light game and a lot of fun. We really, really enjoy this game. What are your favorite dice chucking light games like this? I'm sure there's some out there that you guys could tell me about that I might want to try. So, because I can't get to every game, but I've found some that are so enjoyable. I mean, this game's in my top 100 of all time. I love it. Rudiger Dorn is an amazing board game designer. There are lots of good board game designers. There's only a handful of great ones. He's hitting that great category. I think when you speak about great board game designers, Rudiger Dorn is in there. And that's why when I look at games and I hear about one of the greats designing a game, I'm always interested in it. And I always look into their catalog of games that they've designed. Rainer Knizia, Stefan Feld, Uwe Rosenberg, and, Matt Laycock, guys like that have a history of success. You look at their games because they're good at it. And I enjoy usually games that are by a designer that I have other games by. So that's something to think about. But yeah, let me know in the comments, what is your favorite dice chucking game that you just can't give up? The game that you want to play all the time. There's lots of roll and write games that people play that are dice. I like Quicks. And there's Ganchan Clever and various ones like that. I'm not a roll and write fan. I always tell people I'm not getting out a pen unless it's add up my score at the end of the game. That's it. I'm not crying. And, I just don't like them. But yeah, this is a nice dice chucker. You guys tell me what your favorites are. I love every one of you. Keep on board gaming. You know why? Because it's the best hobby on the planet. And I will see you the next time on The Bones Collector. Bye-bye.